Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Unit 0.2 Notes, Day 2. Today we're going to be talking about multiplying polynomials. Our learning target today is to be able to multiply polynomials. Now, let's review first the rules of adding and subtracting polynomials. Okay, so I'm looking just over here on the left side. So when we are adding and subtracting polynomials, the first thing we need to do is to distribute in order to get rid of parentheses. And then we're going to combine like terms by adding the coefficient of terms with same variable and same exponent. Okay, so for example 1, I see that there are parentheses, so to get rid of them, I need to distribute. And they're like, well, there's nothing to distribute in the first one. Well, technically there's a positive 1, okay? So if I distribute a positive 1, this is pretty much what we were doing yesterday, okay? You're like, well, 1 times x cubed, 1 times 6x squared, it's all the same, okay? So we said if you just want to write it down again, that's fine, okay? You just really have to pay attention to what is out front. Okay? And now we would combine like terms. So my x cubed with my negative x cubed, those cancel. My 6x squared with my 7x squared to give me 13x squared. And then we have negative 1 with negative 7. So negative 1 minus 7 is negative 8. So we get 13x squared minus 8. Okay, now for example 2, our first set of parentheses is the same thing. Okay, there's a positive 1 in front of it. I can just rewrite it. But on the back, that's a negative 1 that we're distributing. So a negative times a negative is a positive. The only thing that's changing when we multiply by a negative 1 are the signs. Okay? But now that we've done that, we're combining like terms, okay? The 6m squared with the negative 3m squared gives me 3m squared. Okay. The negative 2 plus 8 gives me a plus 6m. And then we have the 11 plus 2, which is 13. Okay, so that's a review of what we did yesterday. Now, today what we're going to be talking about is multiplying polynomials. Okay, so the rules, we need to multiply each term from the first polynomial with each term of the second. Okay, and something that people always forget to do is we have to add the exponents of the same base. Okay, and then once we're done with that, we check to see if we can combine like terms. All right, so what we're distributing is a negative 4x. So if you want to do one of these off to the side, we're doing negative 4x times x cubed. Okay, so the coefficients, well, it's just negative 4 times 1, which is negative 4, but then we have to add the exponents. So that would be x to the 4th. All right, so my first term would be negative 4x to the 4th. Okay, so here's my little work off to the side. Now the second thing that we're multiplying is the negative 4x times 6x squared. Well, negative 4 times 6 would be negative 24, and then x to the first times x squared is x cubed, because we are adding the exponents. Okay? And the last one, negative 4 times negative 1, negative 4x times negative 1, gives us positive 4x. Okay, so that's how we get negative 4x to the fourth minus 24x cubed plus 4x. Okay, now example number 4. There are two methods on how to do this, but first we're just going to do the distribution, okay? So I'm going to take whatever my first term is, okay, and I'm going to multiply that first. So m times 2m. I'm not going to do that side work. Remember, we have to add our exponents, so 1 plus 1 is 2. All right. M to the first times negative 1 would be negative 1m. So I just have to make sure that everything gets multiplied. Okay, 4 times 2 would be 8m. And then 4 times negative 1 would be negative 4. Okay, I would need to combine my like terms. So we have 2m squared. Negative 1 plus 8 would be a positive 7m minus 4. Okay, so those are my two answers for that. So starting to jog your memories? Okay, so there are two methods for multiplying polynomials. I just briefly discussed that. Distribution is what I did, or the box method. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do distribution on 1 and 3. I'm going to show you how to do the box method on 2 and 4. And then when we flip over to 5 and 6, I'm going to do the box method for both of those. Okay, so let's take a look at number 1. All right, so I'm going to take my first term, 3x, and I'm going to multiply it by the x squared. So 3 times 1 would give me 3, and then I have to add the exponent. So x1 plus x2 gives me x3. All right, now I'm going to multiply right here. I have 3x times negative 4. Well, 3 times 4 is negative 12, and I don't have anything else, any other x's. All right, so positive 2 times x squared would be a positive 2x squared. And then the last 2 times negative 4 would be negative 8. Now, the only thing that's wrong with this is it's not in standard form, okay? There are no like terms, so all I'm going to do is move the information so it's in the largest exponent to the smallest. And then I can say, I am all done. Okay, so when we're doing the box method, I want to take a look at my two polynomials and notice that I have a binomial times a binomial. All right, so I'm going to turn that into a box right here. Okay, and so I'm going to put a binomial on the top. So that'll be my 3x squared plus 1. And then on the side, it's going to be negative 4x minus 7. And now I just multiply each term inside the box. So I've got my 3x times my negative 4x, which would give me negative 12x cubed. Okay, now I'm going to do negative 4 times 1, which would be negative 4x. Okay, so I multiply the top. Now I'm going to multiply the bottom. 3x squared times negative 7 would give me negative 21x squared. And then negative 7 times a positive 1 would be negative 7. Now I need to look for any like terms, which we don't have. So then I would just put everything in order. The highest exponent first, the negative 12x cubed, minus 21x squared, minus 4x, minus 7. Okay. Number 3. All right, so once again, we're going to do distribution. So I take my first term times the first term. 7 times 7 is 49, and then I add the exponents. 7 times negative 9 would be negative 63 m cubed. Okay, 9, positive 9 times 7, well, that's going to be a positive 63 m cubed. And then last, we have 9 times negative 9, which would give me negative 81. Now, always check for like terms. We have them this time. Negative 60 plus 63. Yep, those cancel. So we're left with 49m to the 6th minus 81. And that is our final answer. Okay, now for number 4, I have a binomial times a trinomial. So our box is going to look a little bit different this time. Now when I do these, I like to have if I have a longer term or longer set of parentheses, I always put that on the top. You can do it the other way, it doesn't really matter. Just my preference. Okay, and then on the left side, I have the 2m, and we have that negative 5. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and start multiplying. I have 2 times negative 4, which would be negative 8, and m times m squared would be m cubed. Okay, the next box, 2m times 8m, 2 times 8 would be a positive 16 m squared. 2m times negative 1 would be negative 2m. Negative 5 times negative 4 would be a positive 20 m squared. Negative 5 times positive 8 would be negative 40 m. And then the last box is negative 5 times negative 1, which would be a positive 5. Okay? Now, when we're doing this, we're looking for like terms, and we've got them. Okay? The 16m squared and the 20m squared. And then also we have the negative 40 and the negative 2. So when I'm combining my like terms, okay, writing this in standard form, we have the negative 8m cubed plus the 36m squared minus 42m plus 5. Okay? All right, let's flip it over. Now, for 5 and 6, or for 5, you could distribute. I think it gets really messy when you're trying to do all of those lines. So I just like to do the box method for ones like this, okay? I have a trinomial times a trinomial, okay? So I've got to go 2 going down, and then 2 this way, so I've got my 3 boxes. And it doesn't really matter which one you put on the top and which one you put on the bottom. Okay, we're going to do this one together, and then I'm going to let you try number 6 on your own. Okay? So remember, we multiply inside, so 3 times 2 would be 6, and then m squared times m squared is m to the 4th. 3m squared times negative 7, I'm just kind of following the 2. 3 times negative 7 would be negative 21, and then m squared plus m to the 1st would be m cubed. 3m squared times 1 would just be a positive 3m squared. Now you don't have to write if it's positive or not. I like to do that just so I really know if it's positive or negative, but you don't have to. Okay, so now I'm doing the second row, 5 times 10, which would be 5 times 2, I'm sorry, 10, and then m cubed. 5 times negative 7 would be negative 30m squared. And then 5 times 1, we get 5m. Last row. Negative 6 times 2 would be negative 12m squared. Then we have negative 6 times negative 7, which would be 42m. And then the very last, negative 6. Okay? So if you're looking at this, we start to see where our like terms are. Now, this is not always going to be a case that they're diagonal, but it happens a lot. So writing this in standard form, I have 6m to the fourth minus 11m cubed, adding the blues. Adding the greens, we're going to get a negative 42. I'm sorry, not 42. That should be 44. M squared plus 47m minus 6. Okay? It's a lot, guys. That's why we want to stay organized when we're doing this. Okay? Now, number 6, you guys are going to be on your own. I'll help you set it up. It's a trinomial times a trinomial. It doesn't matter where you put everything, but then I'm going to have you pause the video and you're going to do this on your own. Okay? So go ahead and multiply and see if you can combine like terms. Good luck. Okay, and there's my final answer. Okay, this one was nice because once again, if you're looking at our diagonals, that's where all of our like terms were at. Okay, and then our final answer is right there. Okay, so last thing, exponents cannot, I repeat, cannot be distributed to polynomials. The exponent tells you how many times to multiply the polynomial with itself, okay? So what we're saying is you just can't go like this and say, well, oh, this is, 9n squared minus 16. Okay, we can't do that. Remember that the exponent applies to everything that the base is, okay? So what that's really saying is 3n minus 4 times 3n minus 4 because there are 2, okay? And then you can pick which method to multiply or to distribute, okay? For ones like this, I think distribution is easier, okay? 3n times 3n is 9n squared. 3n times negative 4 would be negative 12n. Negative 4 times 3, once again, negative 12n. And then negative 4 times negative 4 is a positive 16. Combine your like terms, and we get 9n squared minus 24n plus 16. Okay? So the exponent is just telling you how many times you need to write that polynomial. Okay? So for 8, it's 5k plus 9 times 5k plus 9. Why don't you guys go ahead and pause the video and multiply that out yourself? Okay, so you get 25k squared plus 90k plus 81 is your final answer. Okay? Just remember, when we're doing this, 8 was a little easier because everything was positives, but with ones like 7, we just have to watch our signs. Okay? And now, for 9, we got to be careful, okay? Because, well, it's 4x squared plus 7x minus 1. So when we write that out, you have a trinomial times a trinomial. What I would do personally to set it up is I would do box method for ones like this, okay? So we have 4x squared plus 7x minus 1, 4x squared plus 7x minus 1. I'll let you guys kind of set that up. Okay, and then just watch your signs. Okay, 4 times 4, we get 16x, and we add the exponents. 4 times 7, 28, x cubed. 4 times negative 1, negative 4, x squared. Don't forget your variables. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of go through and multiply these out. 7 times 7, we get 49x squared. Sorry, that last one should have been cubed. Okay, 7 times 1 would be the negative 7x. Negative 4x squared. Negative 7x, and that last one would be positive 1. Okay? And then just combine like terms, guys. The answer is on the right-hand side at the bottom, but it's 16x to the 4th plus 56x cubed plus 41x squared minus 14x plus 1. Okay? Well, guys, that's it for Algebra 2. Unit 0.2 Notes, Day 2. Your homework is 0.2 Practice B. Okay? We're working on adding and subtracting and multiplying and classifying. Okay? So if you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off. Thanks for watching.